Well, you're listening to Akua Hines, and thank you for listening today. I have with me Eric Legette. And Eric, thank you so much. Eric is the founder of Fathers with Voices. And Eric, can you please tell some of the listeners about what Fathers with Voices is all about?
The mission is to increase the involvement of fathers in the lives of their children. The goal is to provide resources and consultation for non-custodial and divorced fathers. So the gist of the program is really helping men to successfully navigate the court system if they have to choose that route. My job is to help them to navigate the process a little bit easier.
Okay, now, for a long time, the courts have been, they favored women. Do you feel that that is changing?
It is changing because this year, this summer, will be my 20th year doing Fathers with Voices. This will be my 20th year. I started in 1996. And when I started Fathers with Voices, it was kind of unheard of to get custody of your children.
For a man to get custody.
It's not. I've helped.
Oh, can I just... sorry, Eric, I just want to clarify. By custody, do you mean full custody or joint custody?
Full custody.
Okay.
Full custody. You know, there have been numerous reports of people of notoriety that have men that have gotten custody of their children. You have NBA superstar Dwayne Wade. He got custody of his children. Rapper / actor Ludacris. He has custody of his children. It's so many men that are gaining custody of their children, and this was something that was kind of unheard of 20 years ago. But now it's not. It's becoming more and more prominent.
Okay. Now, do you feel that the reason why some men are gaining custody of their children more now, is it because they're seeking custody or because the mothers are unfit?
I think it's a combination of both. See, what happens and what I've found, and not only in my personal situation, but in the situations of fathers that I've assisted over the years, men often go for custody because they're blocked. They're alienated from their children. In other words, I'll use my life as an example. The maternal side of the family all kind of supported the mother. And they basically said, look, we're going to determine how you spend time with your child. There were times where they wouldn't allow me to speak to my daughter on the telephone. There were summers where they wouldn't allow me to travel and take my daughter to visit my parents who had, just retired and relocated to the South. I couldn't do that. But her side of the family, they were able to take my daughter for a month at a time. So, it's a combination of both. It's a combination of being unfit. It's a combination of men saying, look, I'm not going to have you determine when I can speak and see my child. And that's what you call using a child as a pawn.
Okay.
And that's where a lot of men are. Mm-hmm.
Now, you live in America. Do you feel that that there are more child custody issues where fathers are being denied in certain states, or is it all across the country?
Oh, it's all across the country. This is a tremendous, still 20 years later, this is still a tremendous problem. And if I may, if I can mention this very quickly.
Of course.
I have a book that is now available on Amazon.com entitled "I Won in Family Court, So Can You." Okay. And I wrote that book because I don't like what I see from men as far as their approach to the court system. And if you were to randomly interview 10 men on the street and say, well, what are your views about how men are treated in court? 8 out of 10 would say, well, fathers have no rights. And that's just not true. So my book is kind of presenting a guide to say, okay, these are the things that you should do in order to have a voice in the court system, and also how to deal with this problem from a coping mechanism standpoint.
Okay. Now, you also, from what I've seen on your website and from chatting with you before, is that you also try to reach out to singles to educate them about these issues before they start a relationship with someone, before they create a child with someone, so that they can prevent some of the issues that yourself and other people have encountered when the relationships didn't work out and they had to deal with child custody issues. So can you talk a little bit about that?
Yes. I have a website named called datinginterview.com. And the website is not about me trying to hook people up. This website is warning single dating people. And it came from years and years of consultation time with both fathers and mothers that have contacted my program, Fathers with Voices. And God bless them, because, they shared with me certain reality. In other words, they shared with me, well, Mr. Legette, this is how I entered the drama. This is my contribution. I had sex too soon. I ignored my warning signals. I ignored my instincts, things of that nature. And if you were to research articles that say dating mistakes, you're going to see those same mistakes in many of the articles. So what I'm trying to do is to alert single dating people to say, okay, what's your approach? And if you go to my website, you'll see different types of questionnaires to see where you stand. And if you take part in the questionnaire, you can look at your responses, and if you're honest with yourself, you can say, well, wait a minute, I'm in line to one day become part of this problem. So, that's the gist of datinginterview.com.
Well, that is very useful. The thing is that even though some red flags may come up in relationships, some people don't understand the true extent, the nature of their partner until they're deep into the relationship. Because do you agree or do you disagree that sometimes people hide things from their partner about their true intentions and their true attitude towards parenting, towards reconciliation and conflict resolution and things like that? So what about people who've been deceived or blindsided?
Well, we have this thing called instincts. And I would say that in speaking to so many people that got caught up in the drama, that is the one word that remained consistent. Instinct. There is something within us that says danger, danger, warning, warning. But a lot of times we're so into what we want that we ignore those instincts. And what I share with people, and especially on the website, and I'm going to be doing some type of webinar real soon. And in that webinar, I'm going to teach people how important it is to know what you want. Can I elaborate and give an example right quick?
Oh, yes, of course.
On that point? Okay. When I graduated college, I did several years as a caseworker, case manager, and once I would say I accumulated maybe 3 or 4 years of experience, I transitioned from interviewing for a job to becoming the interviewee, the interviewer. Let me say that. In other words, I was also interviewing the employer that was interviewing me. And that's when you know your transition. I wanted to know such things as, do you have a high employee turnover ratio? That's very important in social work because that indicates instability within the program or the agency. You don't want to be a part of that. I wanted to know what type of health care you had. How much was it? Was it very expensive? I needed to know that. And just to bring it back, in dating, you really have to know what it is that you want. Not the generic things of, relationship, no. You have to dig deeper. And that's what I want to teach people, because the drama has so many negative consequences. You know, this is a problem that is causing people to die through murder and through suicide. So, you know, it's not something that you should take lightly.
So you feel, so these custody issues, and they have led to crimes of passion. There are several examples of that in the media.
I mean, it's becoming so prevalent now, where, you know, when issues happen, when I'm reading the news, these different news websites, and I read a lot of different type of news search engines and things of that nature. Anytime there's a custody or child support case, I always scroll to the bottom. Or if it's some type of murder between parents, I always scroll to the bottom to see if it says, oh, parents were involved in custody or child support dispute. It's becoming, I don't want to say becoming, it's very prevalent now. It's very, very prevalent.
Okay. Well, thank you so much for sharing your wisdom and your information. And anyone who's listening can log on to www.datinginterview.com to learn more about you, Eric, and about Fathers with Voices. I'm sure they can find you on social media as well. You're on Twitter. I know that, of course. And
can I just mention two more things?
Absolutely.
Real quick. Okay, one is the book I Won in Family Court, So Can You. That's available on Amazon.com right now. There are also tips for women that are trying to support these men, wives, girlfriends, mothers, aunts, female, you know, family members and friends throughout the book. So it's also for women. And the second thing that I want to share is, if you go to my website, datinginterview.com, and sign our contact page for our webinar, one of the things that I want to do is to sponsor some form of trip giveaway. And I know a lot of people that's involved in the travel business, and we're working together for that now. So please, you know, go to my page and just go ahead and sign up, and we'll have a drawing in the near future.
Absolutely. And thank you so much for sharing that valuable information, Eric. And this is Akua Hines from www.akuahines.com and www.purepassion.biz. Thank you so much for listening. And Eric, thank you so much for agreeing to being interviewed today. Thank you.
Thank you.
You're welcome.